let me just say a few words of thanks before I forget. Thanks go to our faculty member Nelson Pizarro, who has helped to organize the event. It also goes out to all of our helpers at the School of Management, and of course all the entrepreneurs, investors, and others in the entrepreneurial space at the one-on-one community here. Particularly also, before I forget, I would like to mention one member, Brandon Highland. I see him somewhere in the back. Brandon is there. He is starting another initiative today, actually, for the one-on-one entrepreneurial community. He's going to start an open coffee club. Brandon, do you want to say a few words?
Yes, so. We're starting an open coffee club. If you don't know what that is, it's just a regular time and place where entrepreneurs can get together, investors, marketers, hackers, and meet in an informal way where you're meeting up and holding out and coffee in Newberry Park. We have to go see them. If you don't know where that is, you got to use the force to get up there. That's about all I got.
Wonderful. Thanks, Brandon. So if you want to keep in touch with everything that's going on along the one-on-one corridor, we have a Google Plus community. Look us up at one-on-one entrepreneur. And of course, the School of Management has a Facebook page, so all the event announcements go out through that channel. And one announcement that I'd like to make before at the end everybody disappears is our next Entrepreneur Roundtable event is going to be on September 26th. With Brian Farrell of THQ, or formerly THQ I should say, big video game manufacturer that unfortunately is in bankruptcy right now, and Brian Farrell has graciously agreed to speak to us about his own personal journey from a small startup to a pretty big corporation, and about the ups and downs, the good times and the times of crisis. So September 26th, same time at CLU. But for today, of course, we have a different topic and we have different people to thank. We're going to talk about a hot topic for entrepreneurs today, crowdfunding. And we have an exciting panel of speakers today. We have Victoria Savchenko, who has a very interesting background. She's an economist by education, and she has worked with some pretty famous names. She's worked at the Milken Institute, she's worked with Arthur Laffer, former Reagan advisor. She runs a private equity group called Metropole Capital, and she's a regular contributor to the Huffington Post on crowdfunding. Thanks for being with us, Victoria. We have Brad Wyman, who is worked at Indiegogo.com and is running his own crowdfunding platform right now called FundAnything.com, which is backed by another big name that you might recognize, Donald Trump. Brad is also an independent movie producer, very prolific and productive movie producer, and has worked with the likes of Matthew McConaughey, Reese Witherspoon, and who else? Charlize Theron.
Thank you.
Those are the ones that
bring you everywhere. That's a lovely introduction.
So it will give him some time to promote his next feature later on. And then we have Steve Gutierrez. Steve Gutierrez is a business consultant with a vast IT background. I think he's a recovering IBM employee. Is that yes. Many years ago, but now he is a business consultant. He advises executives and startups on crowdfunding strategies. Thanks for being here, Steve.
I apologize in advance. My associate David was unable to. We had to do a coin flip last night on who would make the drive.
I understand. He's coming up from Orange County, so being here at 7:30 in the morning is not that easy of an undertaking. So what we're thinking is the format that we're going to take is we'll have each one of our panelists speak for about 10-15 minutes. We'll give you some time for immediate questions and reactions. And after each one of the three of them has spoken, then we'll get them together and we'll have a panel and we'll take questions from the audience. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making the One-on-One Entrepreneur Initiative at CLU a big success. And Victoria, the floor is yours.
Hi everybody, I'm Victoria Savchenko. Thank you so much for such a nice introduction. It is a real honor to be here. I'm originally from Russia, Moscow, and every time I speak, so to back up my lovely Russian accent, I have to bring such lovely presentations. you introduced my background, but I would like to add that I sort of organically, I guess, moved towards to crowdfunding as I've been working for the past 7 years with startups and early stage companies, and I realized that it was practically impossible to get to the traditional sources of capital by the most entrepreneurs and innovators. And the reason of such a situation is not that ideas or business plans were poor, as some of people might suggest, but because traditionally VCs and angel networks have been focusing on technology leading companies for the past probably 20 years. So unless you are a technology guy, you would probably have a very, very low probability to get capital. And moreover, I find out that woman-based businesses have probability less, almost like by twice to raise venture capital. I think Pepperdine University done quite interesting research on that, and minority-owned businesses have probability for almost like 30% of probability, basically regular people raising capital. So I started to look for some alternative ways how to raise capital, and that's how I actually ended up with crowdfunding. I decided to start my presentation with this beautiful quote by Nikola Tesla: "The present desires the future," for which I really worked in his mind, and that's how I feel when I'm talking about crowdfunding, because lots of people have quite negative opinion, especially about equity-based crowdfunding. So, but we'll talk basically about this as well, and I don't want it to be like election, so I would love you to get involved and just raise your hand or just comment on every fact or information you're going to hear. I hope it's will be quite entertaining. So just a little bit statistic that in 2011 over 1.5 billion was raised via crowdfunding. 2000.7, this is a number for 2012, and I highly recommend to check crowdsourcing.org. This is a company actually this is a local company that is based in Santa Monica. Absolutely great guys, and I believe this is the leading company that tracks data on crowdfunding industry. So you can see that crowdfunding is a truly global industry, and that's what one of the things that excite me the most. And again, guys, if you have any questions, just raise your hand. This is interesting information that I just found recently on Kickstarter. How some states basically specialize on different type of projects. California is obviously art, comics, design, fashion. I was a bit surprised that Texas like games, or Minnesota appeared to be teach state. But the point is that everyone is getting involved. I mean, crowdfunding is the word that probably connect people as used to, as probably like a few years people were excited about being on Facebook, and now it's on Twitter and so on. What is actually crowdfunding? I mean, guys, raise your hand who just probably been doing some campaigns on crowdfunding.
Anybody know anything about crowdfunding?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are there any people who actually plan to do a campaign? Please raise your hand. Okay. What kind of? Because I just wanted to have like a sense of audience. What kind of projects are the films? Are they what?
Basically, I have the person that we're doing the crowdfunding for sitting right next to me here, and we have the project. She has written a book, and she has an accompanying little plush animal because it's a book written for children. And we are getting out there to crowdfund to basically raise money for her to be able to publish 2
So
more
it's
books.
publishing. Okay. Anyone else want to just? I've seen some hands.
We're working with a client that has a product called Green Bells, and they're a replacement for the dumbbell. And they're gripples, so you put your hands inside of them, and then you do a series of exercises, and it's supposed to help with also the rehab market besides the golf market and a number of other markets.
Okay,
And
so
they're getting ready to start.
So you are just planning. Are you already on the Kickstarter or?
They're Kickstarter, they're just getting ready to get started.
Okay, and I've seen some other hands. You guys don't be shy. Who else?
At some point, we're going to raise money for social businesses, which are businesses that tackle social issues as opposed to just making money. So we'd place a social issue and say, hey, we are actually designing a social business model around the social issue, and we're trying to raise funds to actually make this business happen. So just like a normal business.
It's like a non-profit. You like.
It's a non-profit but business. It's to make a profit, but profits are reinvested in order to maximize the social value.
Interesting.
We're taking self-storage to Brazil and possibly other countries in South America. It's already there, but it's in the infancy stage, so there's a great need for it there.
So you're not running the campaign. You are getting
We're
them.
right.
Okay. Anyone else?
We constructed a partnership with Entrepreneur Media to build our own crowdfunding platform for the building and marketing of mobile apps.
Who are you using, guys? What kind of company? And I know Investor T, and that's probably the leading company that.
It's a native platform we built.
Okay.
We roll it out next week.
And I've seen I think. Yeah.
We have a small nonprofit catering to wounded veterans, and we were using crowdfunding to try to get going on doing more of the selling of T-shirts and swag stuff. We did a small campaign with it. Didn't do too great.
On Kickstarter?
On Indiegogo? Yeah, I think that's what we did it on. Yeah, so I just don't think the platform worked for us and how we designed it.
How did it go? I mean, did you guys, how much did you raise?
How much did we raise? I think we ended up raising like $5,000. So.
Okay. So anyone else?
Well, I started a small technology services firm that basically caters to and delivers backup services for its clientele. Basically, I'm at the infancy stage in the aspect of getting funding. The company's been around for 3 years, but now we're actually at the point of exploring different opportunities. Up until now, I wasn't really aware that crowdfunding could really be a viable pathway in terms of actually generating larger levels of income.
And technology services.
Yes, technology services.
It's a bit tough for crowdfunding, I would say. but we'll talk about that. So I just, really briefly, and I'm sure that you guys, while we were talking, you checked out. So there is a bit of misunderstanding that there are actually several types of crowdfunding platform, and I outlined a few of them, the key platforms that types. It's reward-based, donation-based, lending-based, equity-based, and pretty recently we've got actually royalty-based. So there is a big misconception that our platforms like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, it's a reward-based or donation-based. We will be talking about equity-based, lending-based. I probably would strongly recommend to check lendingclub.com. I think they have the details on the market. And as you can see from the pie, the donation-based is basically the most popular crowdfunding model on this stage. I found this site very, very enlightening. And again, check out crowdsourcing.org. So the interesting fact that social cases were the most popular in 2012. And by the way, I guess I see you taking pictures. I'm always, you cannot do that, you know that, yeah, I was just kidding. I'm always sharing knowledge and information, so just talk to me and I'll just send you the presentation. Very much happy to know that you are going to utilize it. So social cases, that's basically number one, and it's not surprising because VCs managers, they don't want to back up social cases. The interesting fact, I'm an economist and I love numbers. The interesting fact that I found out is that the charity industry in the United States is one of the largest industries. Last year, the size of industry was $312 billion. It's huge, and for you to understand how huge is that, the VC industry is around 27 billion, the angel industry is about 26, and again, as I was talking, crowdfunding industry so far is 2.7 billion. It is expected to be 5.1 billion. So crowdfunding, and 5.5 billion, we are talking about global terms, global size. So crowdfunding industry in a way is very, very small. But this is the fastest growing industry in the United States, with a growth of around 200%. So that's something that I think we should know about. Lots of time people ask me why on earth strangers would back up your projects. I've been actually asking myself the same question, especially given the financial situation of most of American households. I just was wondering myself with the question, why on earth people would try to back you up. So I think that number one is that there should be some kind of like a greater purpose on your project, and that's something that you should embrace. I mean, people definitely want to make a difference, and I think there is that shift of mind that you can make a difference even with $20, $50 of donation. And I think Kickstarter actually just issued a statistic for the past year. The average donation was $70, $75. I don't know, Brad, do you know Indiegogo? I mean, do you guys?
What about them?
Yeah, like what's the average size of donation?
$25?
$25, okay. Yeah, I would say it's 25, but Kickstarter said it's 70, but
Goes up and down.
it's pretty close. So there is a big, and I'm just going to touch it really quickly, and I'm sure you guys will have more questions about the equity crowdfunding in this particular country, and Jobs Act, and the saga with Job Act has started last year when Obama signed on April 5th, as it's called Jumpstart Our Business Act, Jobs Act into law. And as you can see that even that it is absolutely a bold step to democratize the private financing. But what I like to say that still, if you're making not more than 100,000 K, you are allowed to invest not more than 5% of your income, of your annual income, and if you're making more than 100, you are allowed to make you are allowed to invest not more than 10% of your income. And I have a lot of conversations and discussions with my American friends about it, and I think that it's probably not a bad idea, at least for the first step, to see how it works, because as someone was actually born in Russia and working in Russia for some time. I remember in 1998 when there were lots of so-called investment funds mushrooming in Russia, and lots of people, mostly obviously old people, came to investment funds and give them pretty much all money they had for retirement, and then investment funds disappear. So by basically allowing to invest only 5% of income, in a way you are protected from going complete bankrupt. But again, my American friends think that that's not the freedom we are looking for. I think main issue with a Jobs Act and why the Security and Exchange Commission has not approved the rules, which is still unfortunately makes equity crowdfunding illegal, is that one of the most revolutionary provisions in the Jobs Act that it will allow everyone, every citizen, invest into private companies. So far, to this day, you have to be accredited investor, which means that your income should be at least 200,000 annual income, or if you're a couple, it should be 300,000, or you will have to prove that you have 1 million of liquid assets. And liquid assets means that, let's say that you live in one house, but you have another house that you are not living at, and it costs 1 million. So that's basically brings us to the sad point that only a little bit more than 1% of American population can actually invest into private companies, and that has been I think the biggest fight. I'm writing about this a lot on Huffington Post. You can just go to huffingtonpost.com and put my name, Victoria Savchenko, and you'll get quite a few articles. So just recently, basically, there was like one step that hopefully moved us a little bit closer to the law that we want to see as a working one. I believe on July 10th, the Security and Exchange Commission lifted the ban for private equity firms, hedge funds, and startups, early stage companies, all kind of like private firms for advertising. The thing is that to this point, if you're a private firm, you are not allowed to advertise to the public. So now you can. Not exactly now. I think that the regulations still have to go through the several stages, and I think that on the middle of September the rules should be on. But the irony, as I wrote about this on the Huffington Post, the irony is that you still can advertise only to accredited investors. This is number one. Number two, you are becoming, as an entrepreneur, innovator, and an artist, you are becoming a subject of anti-fraud laws, or any kind of statements that you put on a social network, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, that might be considered by the Security and Exchange Commission as a misleading can be used actually against you. And it's a very thin line, I think, because, you know, like I have my company and I'm very excited and say, hey guys, you know, I'm tweeting like this is my baby, you know, why don't you come on board and, you know, invest? And then the venture did not work, not probably because I did not do something right on purpose, but just because, you know, statistically, most of the startups are failed. So, and there is, I think, sometimes I think that there is a big misconception between fraud and failure. And I think what we should work with entrepreneurs is basically try to see how we can help them to build, you know, sustainable businesses. So my recent article I think I just wrote it, you know, 2 weeks ago. It called on the Huffington Post. It called equity, crowdfunding, and advertising. Be careful what you wish for. So please check it out, because I put the link of the security lawyer. So if you click on that link in my article, so she has an absolutely great write-up of the new rules, just like, you know, 5-6 pages. Because the whole document actually is several hundred pages. I mean, it's yeah, I see like timing. Okay. So really quickly, just wanted to share the fact that Kickstarter is not the only player in the market. So there are around, as far as I know, around 800 platforms, crowdfunding platforms existing globally. The numbers are different. I keep hearing, you know, different numbers for the United States, but the recent number I've heard is around, you know, 500 crowdfunding platforms. So I see that some crowdfunding platforms are becoming niche kind of platforms. So I have this list, and again, if you guys want this presentation, happy to share. So you have a crowdfunding directory, that link, and you'll see basically what's available. That's another one of my favorite sites, roundtable.com, where you actually can see by the number of users how many unique users are on each platform. And as you see that, you know, for instance, Kickstarter is not even number one, but that's pretty much, you know, at this point, that's pretty much, you know, top crowdfunding websites that you can see in the United States. Just like 2 minutes. So Kickstarter is, you know, obviously is the leading company in the crowdfunding space. Mostly, and I keep hearing about this, that, you know, Kickstarter actually really wants to focus on creative type of projects. And statistics say that, you know, films, design, music, that's the type of projects that they've been, you know, financed last year the most. Like, for instance, I know I've been asked by several people from biotech if Kickstarter is good, and you know, like, for instance, Kickstarter is not working with biotech companies, so that's something to keep in mind. Gentlemen, you mentioned high-tech project. I highly recommend to check out foundergeek.com. That's where technology type of projects are on, and the guys are based here in California, so it's pretty cool because you just can meet with them for coffee and ask for advice. And very approachable, great people. You know, I just a few tips that you might be thinking about when you run, crowdfunding platform. I'm sure that Brad will have a great review on this one. My favorite, I just, concluding my favorite, I would just say that crowdfunding is not easy. It's not a checklist. It's not that you put your project and you see that, checking whether people are liking you or not. I think that the word campaign, crowdfunding campaign, is basically tell us that you are a politician, you are running a campaign. So you basically, you get your all Facebook friends. You get Twitter, you get LinkedIn. You go to the events. It's a bit crazy. I've been talking with several people who've been running successfully, crowdfunding platforms, and they all actually just told me that one thing they complained about, they did not have enough sleep. That's something that you guys really have to think about. So thank you so much. Hope I did not take too much time.
Thanks, Victoria. Brad Wyman will be the next on our list to speak to you about his own experiences in crowdfunding and running crowdfunding platforms. On a side note, we are streaming this event live today. Usually at universities we tell people no phones, no tablets, but here take your phones out, take your tablets out, and tweet about it. It's on Ustream. The channel is called CLU Live 3. Brad?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Nothing's worse than following you. I mean, like, who wants to see me, right? I want to take a picture of everybody. If I don't do this, like the bosses say, like, am I really working? And no, I'm just in Thousand Oaks, for the coffee. My name is Brad Wyman. Prior to being in crowdfunding, I produced over 40 motion pictures, hundreds of hours of television, thousands of hours of live stream, and they closed Detroit on me. The independent movies that I made, the cars that I was manufacturing were stopped being made. Now if it's not a big comic book, you're really hard to get a movie made. So I was trying to find out what to do next. Where convergence lied for me. Everyone was making their fortunes on the internet and figured that there was some sort of crossover. And that's when I did start live streaming, doing just what he's doing now. I would just put up a raw food cooking show or put up whatever I could put up and see if anyone would come. And at least I was producing. I was Andy Hardy. I was making something. But what I really learned while I was doing it was how to drive people to a page. That was becoming what I learned through social networking, through Facebooking, through blogs, Tumblr, reaching people on the internet. And then, as I was trying to reinvent entertainment online, like I'm going to be able to do that, right? I was really just trying to figure out, okay, where do I really lie here? And what does a producer do? A producer gets the money. Rule number one of being a movie producer is get the money. Rule number two is always remember to never forget to get the money. And rule number three is never forget to always remember to never forget to always get the money. So that's really what I did. I'd find hopefully good projects or find entertaining, things to produce. Being a good producer is different than being a producer. There's plenty of people that are producing as long as they can get the money. And something emerged while I'm doing this live streaming, and I'm pushing people to a page called crowdfunding, where the whole object was to get the money. And I started experimenting with all the sites. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Rocket Hub, Seed and Spark, and I was getting really good at it because I'd learned how to drive people to a page through this. I've gotten pretty adept at social media and social, creating social relevancy and building pages. And I spent my entire career raising money, which kind of all came together. And even I'm from a political background. My mother was a city council person in Los Angeles, and I remember she used to go door to door handing out bars of soap, which was her perk or reward, clean up the city with Roz Wyman. So like I'm a campaigner's son. So I found my convergence. For me it was crowdfunding. I got so good at it, I actually got a job, which was unbelievable. Talk about mom, she like cried. Health insurance, you're not in the movie business anymore, And I went to work for Indiegogo, which is one of the bigger crowdfunding companies, one of the more popular ones in America. And I was hired to run the entertainment, basically, division there, to film, television, web, video, put things on the site, sell it everywhere I could, and help people with best practices in raising money. Give them what tools or knowledge I could use to work there. And I worked there for a year. When I got there, that vertical was doing $1 million a month in transactions. When I left, 11 months later, it was doing $3 million in transactions. So I tripled it. There was growth, period, because crowdfunding's taking off, but none of the other verticals tripled it. I don't like to say, hey, I'm like the dude, but I was the dude. Well, it was like really refreshing too. It's like 4 years, man, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm not making movies, and I still got 2 kids and ex-wives, and I'm trying to figure this out, and wow, I found it. And yet, I had a lot of trouble with the Indiegogo philosophy, though. And it's a fine platform, and they're really good guys, so this is not like to bash any of the other platforms, although I will make my big sales pitch shortly. Their motto is go fund yourself. Yeah, you could fill in the blanks, right? My motto is how can I help you get funding? What could I do? Really fortunate, since I was not being able to instrument all of the things that I wanted to do at this company, and they had a wonderful motto and a very democratic socialist thing that, everyone's equal and everyone has to do their own stuff, right? I got approached by Donald Trump and Bill Zanker. This was like bizarre. I thought I was like going on a Celebrity Apprentice or something. My political tendencies don't necessarily align, with Mr. Trump's. Although I'd like to know his barber. But the few times I met him, he's a lovely man, actually. And the two of them came to me with that they're in what they called the 4th quarter of their careers. Bill was very successful. He's my CEO. And ran Learning Annex and just printed money, And him and Don were great friends. They wrote a book together, and they decided they wanted to help 1 million people. Literally, that was their pitch. We want to help 1 million people. You don't want to make money along the way because they're capitalists. And they say if we don't, we can't help anyone anyways, which is true. Which, as in the car, Winston Churchill said, if you're not a socialist in your 20s, you have no heart. If you're not a capitalist in your 40s, you have no brain. And I've learned that too, though. When you start actually thinking about making money, you actually can help other people do what they want. And they said, Brad, we'd like you to run it. And I'm like, this was really weird. I was like, I'm not getting along with this company, and I've changed my career, and I'm like getting offered by like really big, cool, powerful guys, to start and run a crowdfunding company. And I can't tell you how much fun I'm having. And I can't tell you how much I love what I do. We're really brand new. It's called fundanything.com. Fundanything.com. That's fundanything.com. which is not on any of your slides anywhere. Could you just redo one or two of them, please? You know, I'll pay you. Anyways, though, 10 weeks, 12 weeks old, I launched my first campaign already on the site. It's from a podcast guy named Adam Carolla. He's just crossed $1 million yesterday. It also proves my theory of crowdfunding. It does not matter the platform. There are no elves. I mean, there really aren't. There are no fairies. There is not one person showing up to Indiegogo, Rocket Hub, Kickstarter saying, what do I give money to today? That doesn't exist. You know, you want to think I'm wrong? Go put up a page with the greatest pitch any on any of it and just wake up in the morning and see if anyone even clicked on it. You got to drive your audience, your crowd to the page. So you raise money online. And I'm getting really good at it. And I'm really learning it. And what we're trying to do at Fund Anything is become crowdfunding 2.0. It's not go fund yourself. You know, it's we're here to help you get funded. Now what does that mean? I mean, it doesn't mean anyone's writing checks, you know, nobody's, but it means there is true social media, there are true publicists, there are true marketing, and at the moment, for every campaign. You know, as we grow in size and scale, we'll see how many we can handle. And we are working at a lot of interactive tools, to make things simpler. I'll give you the simplest thing that we do, and you can use this as a metaphor for everything that occurs in regards to other sites. Kickstarter, which is probably the Kleenex in regards to brand names, of crowdfunding, at least in America. By the way, they only accept 50% of the people that actually, submit their campaign. And that's a true fact, and that really upsets me. I mean, I got into this for the democratization of financing. I mean, how anybody can get no's all over from ventures and a crowdfunding site won't let you on? I mean, that I deplore, but that's another topic completely. But on Kickstarter, it's Amazon-based, and I've run campaigns there, and it's a great platform, don't get me wrong. Technically smooth, beautiful platform. But the only information you get back from your contributor is an email. That's all you get. It's Amazon-based. They won't give you the address. They won't give you everything. So, God forbid you actually had a big campaign that had 10,000 people. You got to go survey, and they give you a Kickstarter survey, where their address is, what they ordered, what their reward is. Amanda Palmer, a music person, still working on fulfillment there. On ours, you get printable labels with the code of what they ordered right on it. Might not sound like much, but believe me, when you press a button and everybody just comes out, it's a really good thing. Slip it on, put in your t-shirt, put in your DVD, put in your animal, stuffy, That's just a simple explanation, of all the things that are occurring, from, press outlets to everything. And crowdfunding has to grow this way. It has to. It's the first inning still of crowdfunding. Only 11% of America even knows the term. It's only searched 67,000 times a month. It's nothing, It's just started. But what is it? It's the best thing ever. It really is. No bank, no from a studio, no from a publisher. Take your idea straight to the public. Engage with them directly. Build your brand and build your audience. Can everyone raise $1 million? No. Can you raise $5 grand? Yeah. Can you raise 10 grand? Yeah. Can you raise 1,000? Yeah. Can you raise 25? Sure. It depends on your social relevancy. It depends on how much you're going to work. It depends on how many people you can drive to your page. Do the math. If the average contribution is 50 bucks and you get 10 contributions, it's $500. Just do the math. Get 1,000, it's $50,000. That's how much you'll raise. Can you get 1,000 people to your page? Can you get 1,000 people to actually give you $50 for something? You know, people all the time, I'm going to go raise $1 million, and they have 4 Twitter followers and 1 on Facebook, and their mom won't even back the campaign. Yes, your mothers have to back your campaign. Yes, or don't do it. And I'm dead serious. This is a campaign. You're running for mayor. If mom doesn't stand behind you when you run for mayor, don't run. You're in trouble. If you can't get 100 people standing behind you when you run for mayor, don't run. You ain't gonna win. I tell people, identify 100 people on day 1. Identify them. I can talk about this all day long. There's another person to talk. I know we're gonna get to do questions and answers. I love crowdfunding. I love the ability that Fund Anything is providing me to help people. Yes, I talked about Adam Carolla's campaign. I've helped fund 72 community gardens. I helped crowdfund a baby. Couple couldn't afford in vitro fertilization. Talked about how insurance companies don't allow it. Put up a beautiful pitch. Their rewards were needle pointing and all sorts of gifts. They raised $10,000. They had a baby. I did that. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to help people reach their dreams and their goals and get things made. Really love it. A lot of hard work, a lot of energy, and be delighted to answer questions and meet every one of you after. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. So we have the macro perspective, we have the insider's perspective. Now we get the perspective of Steve Gutierrez, who consults the companies about crowdfunding.
Well, good morning and thank you. How many of you in this room are entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs? 75% of you? Okay. Crowdfunding is a byproduct of an arduous path for you to take your dream, that idea, that business proposition, create a loyal, supportive crowd, and monetize them. Victoria, at the beginning, discussed about the pieces and parts of crowdfunding, what it looks like, what it kind of smells like, what it is evolving to, and what it might become. We have politicians and we have powerful business interests that have their stamp of approval or flavor they're putting on it. And the entrepreneur community that is seeking their seed funding, their initial capital formation, their ramp-up funding is still waiting. The Crowdfunding Act that was passed almost 2 years ago is still mired in SEC rules, regulations, and posturing. And we can't change that. But all those ideas that 3/4 of you in this room have are still germinating. You need that growth medium to germinate and grow that idea. Brad mentioned that crowdfunding is not go fund it or go find funding.
Go fund yourself.
Go fund yourself. Or, woo, good luck, have fun. Okay, it is a lot of work. Brad touched on many of the aspects of reaching and cultivating your crowd. My associate David and I have come from a long background of utilizing information technology to create a strategic advantage for your business idea, proposition, and to capture and hold your client. Now, there's a lot of ways to go about that. Nobody can say today that there is a brick and mortar form of what is crowdfunding, because it's all done electronically. Every aspect of promoting who you are, and what you do is electronic. I have a quick question. Where did the mouse go? Because it is... Oh, okay, thank you. Let me just kick to that real quick. Somehow the window closed. Okay, I will wing it from here since the window got closed. Crowdfunding, we have taken from about 2.5, 3 years ago, a understanding that the entrepreneur and business we were working with was seeking a way to grow their business outside of the traditional bank lending, the SBA world where you get a sort of a push and a shove and a bit of help, and the private equity forms of venture capital and private equity funding or angel investor funding that look at 1,000 opportunities like you and fund 1 or 2 of you. Like Brad was mentioning and Victoria mentioned, the crowd of business entrepreneurs is seeking to build their own crowd, their own forum of identified believers, mentors, coaches that believe in their idea and their business value proposition and will buy into it in a way that funds them. Monetizing the crowdfunding name is really the last 5% of the 95% of work of what Brad and Victoria both mentioned at the beginning. It is finding and reaching and building your crowd. What we have done is we have taken a look at that for the last couple of years, in which there are about 300 people in crowdfunding throughout North America. As of the end of 2012, there were 9,000 names attached to crowdfunding. That number is decreasing as the volume of interest has changed to focus in on what can this do for me? How does it work? Let me see if I can pull this up real quick, because I think
It may just be minimized, Steve.
I'm gonna make it big and we are an organization called Crowdfunding Plan. What we have done is, oh, let's see, typo, yes. Pardon me. We have taken and recognized from our technology history of the last 20 plus years. I think we mentioned that I'd spent some time with the company called IBM. And they have morphed and changed from when I joined them. And I was fortunate to be a fresh out of school rookie in the business world and got to be part of the IBM PC announcement team in the early 1980s. So I have watched technology become a value for all of us in everything we do. Most of you have technology at your fingertips right now connecting to some part of this. In doing all of this, what we have built is let me go to services real quick. Sorry, I had this open, but it wasn't open when I got up here. I'm going to play this short 2-minute video about how and what the process has been that is now evolved to. Does this have volume? Please, thank you. Sorry about the technical interruption.
The information and networking age has allowed people to connect like never before. There has never been a better time to be innovative. Crowdfunding and tools like the internet, social media, cloud computing, and mobile devices has made it easier for innovators to succeed. It is now possible to directly pitch ideas to the global masses for support. But even with all these technological advances, you still need crowdfunding know-how and resources to turn your idea into a reality. Whether your idea is in the ideation phase, design phase, or it's ready to be introduced to the market, Crowdfunding Planning has the team and network of crowd mentors and coaches who can assist you. What you accomplish before your crowdfunding campaign launch makes all the difference. The path to achieving your crowdfunding goal is not a straight line from A to B. It's a series of strategic events that can create the best environment for success. Therefore, we create individual products and services that operate within the crowdfunding planning framework. Crowdfunding planning offers a variety of services to help you reach your funding goal. You can hire us to do a specific task, like concept evaluation, building a campaign model, or crowd building. We can also be your crowdfunding consultant and perform our full spectrum of services, actively working with you to execute your campaign strategy. Or we can simply advise you how to execute your campaign on your own. It's all up to you. Regardless of our level of involvement, rest assured you will always receive outstanding service and unparalleled value. Experience, ingenuity, dedication, confidentiality, commitment to excellence. These are the cornerstones of service we give to our clients. So what is your great idea about? The crowd is growing and crowdfunding planning is here to help you reach them. Successful crowdfunding takes preparation and teamwork. Discover crowdfundingplanning.com and contact us now.
How crowdfunding is growing. In 2009, it was less than $500 million globally. By 2011, globally, Gartner and IDC Research identified that nearly $4.6 billion was raised globally in the variety of crowdfunding venues or portals, platforms out there. Projected for 2014, there will be $16 billion of funding raised globally by crowdfunding campaigns. So we ask ourselves, if Kickstarter is the Kleenex of crowdfunding, and they raised, their revenue volume was $300 million last year, or a little less, where's all the other money going through? What is the venue or the avenue? Well, a crowdfunding portal, like Brad mentioned, is a vehicle to connect and use them as an exchange mechanism to help you get your funding. I mentioned earlier that crowdfunding is really a byproduct of a crowd building process that centers around your landing page or a web porthole system that describes who you are, what problem you're solving in the world, what great cause or product that you bring to market that you need to help get funded so you can turn it into a production mechanism, whatever it be. That crowd building effort includes multitudes of social media, business and professional associations. Yeah, your mom, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your aunt, uncle, the kids in the Little League team and the Brownies and whoever else you're involved in will all be part of your circle of influence and mentors and helpers. Each of them has a Rolodex, like we all do, in the old term, a Rolodex of your contacts. Many of us, given our business endeavors and our interests in things, will have similarly like-minded people in our Rolodex. If I can bring through my business idea as an entrepreneur knowledge to you about my idea, and I solicit your input to help me make it a better idea and to help me fund it, I can then hopefully tap into your Rolodex. And if there's 75 or 80 of you that has a Rolodex of 200 or 300 people, all of a sudden now I'm looking at 5,000 names, potentially. And if the second tier of those people each has their own Rolodex of 300 to 500 people or 400 people, you can understand how it exponentially grows. Most of crowdfunding, that byproduct of building your crowd, is from people you don't know, you may never know, and you don't know how to reach them initially. Your electronic landing page, your electronic "I got something for you" sign out on the internet through the crowdfunding processes is basically your avenue to reach them. It was mentioned that we utilize social media, business branding, and digital marketing techniques through groups, associations, universities, alumni group elements to reach all of the avenues of your crowd. Literary organizations in certain fields, certain charities, whether they be secular or religious-based charities. You know, the churches in America 200 years ago were expert crowdfunders. It's called the plate or the basket. And every Sunday, they did a fantastic job of crowdfunding by bringing a crowd to listen to a particular valuable message and then contribute to that effort. Crowdfunding today in a business sense is almost identical to doing that. You must take your business concept and value proposition of that, encapsulate it like we did in a short video here, 2 minutes, a minute and a half, in which you share that idea, cultivate interest, and then create a call to action to bring that crowd to your website, to your portal page on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or any of the others, and spend $25, $50, $75, $100 for a copy of your widget, or a contribution and a recognition page or letter or t-shirt or memento of your special effort for their cause. And the takeaway from the typical crowd funder, the person that puts money into your campaign, you being the issuer of a crowdfunding campaign, is that sense of, I had a hand in making this successful, or I helped save a life, or I helped bring fresh, clean water to a poor, impoverished group or village somewhere around the globe, or any of the other hundreds of ideas that are artistic, that are consumer electronics based, that are product or service, as the multitude of ideas that both Victoria and Brad mentioned and that we see in the marketplace. Sure, there are certain verticals that lend itself well to crowdfunding, but if you have a passion for your idea, and we can help you through this framework, define it in a way that can leverage the digital media, the internet, to broadcast that idea electronically, engage and cultivate that audience, you can get it crowdfunding. That's basically what I have to say. You can find out more about us through our site, crowdfundingplanning.com. If you are a business consultant in the area of that, look us up under searching for crowdfunding coaches, consultants, mentors, and we have a framework to help do this, and you can find that through our crowdfunding planning site, pointers to get to that. It's a self-service cookbook approach. It doesn't help you build everything. It gives you how to put all of your idea together in a meaningful framework to use any of the platforms that are out there, or crowdfund it on your own site, because that's perfectly legal today. Thanks so much. Look forward to your questions on specific.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for everybody for coming out this morning, and please put September 26th on your calendar with Brian Farrell of THQ. Thank you.